But it's like Guildenstern or artichoke.
What's up, everybody? We are finally back on Court Kingz. I know it's been a minute. I know it's been a while for us, but just know we've been keeping up, but, things happen. Mm-hmm. Today, I have a new co-host with me. This seems to be a round robin thing, but we're going to try to keep it this crew for now, maybe add somebody else down the line. It's my man, other NBA analyst, Calvin Knight. Say what's up, Calvin. Let people know who you are.
What's going on? So I'm your resident New Yorker with no ties to New York when it comes to sports teams. Outside of maybe New York Football Club, I don't really rock with Red Bulls like that. The Rangers, it's all Cavs and all Bengals. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to this football and NBA thing, we ain't doing too bright on the basketball side, but we'll be all right.
As a Knicks fan, I understand. We're just coming out of that tunnel, so
listen, man, the Knicks is gonna be all right. I was telling somebody the other day because being from New York, you gotta at least support the Knicks, But y'all gonna be all right. It looks like we'll see how y'all do in officially year 2. Because I got a nice front office. The team's looking good. They're responding well, but it really just depends on what y'all do in free agency and if y'all really gonna draft or do the Knicks thing and just buy a random free agent, So, but I think y'all
That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about.
I can't say too much negative things about the Knicks because of affiliations, but and occupations. But for the most part, I think the Knicks will be all right, especially since they're going up against the Hawks. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, when we get to it, we're gonna get into it. But we're gonna start this off the right way. Today we have the 2 playing games, which is the 9th and 10th seed and the 7th and 8th seed. At the 9th seed, we got the Indiana Pacers, who now don't really have their quote-unquote superstar in Karis LeVert due to, thigh soreness or thigh contusion, something to that regard, for the next 10 to 14 days. And they will be going against the Hawks, who will essentially have all their guys back. They just played a couple of days ago and they were resting some guys, so they should have their full team. And then you have the Celtics at 7, who basically rested their entire rotation against their last game with the Knicks, so they should have a full team back against the surprisingly, I will say, the team that I'm very surprised that is still hanging around, the Washington Wizards. And with Russell Westbrook, apparently Bradley Beal isn't going to be 100%. So we'll see how that one's going to play out. But, yeah, those are our matchups. So let's start with the 9th and the 10th seed. How are you feeling about that?
The 9th and the 10th seed. What was that? The Washington Wizards and the
No, that's the Pacers and the Hornets.
Hornets. You see, that's going to be tough. It's Pacers and Hornets. It's going to be tough because, like you said, Karis LeVert, he offers that scoring punch. And, they have a solid rotation when it comes to the Pacers, but it would take Brogdon and Sabonis really having explosive games. Like, if you've been watching the stats kind of closely, I know it says that he's been averaging about 19, but Malcolm Brogdon, when he's been playing, he's been giving you 24, 25 consistently, giving you 8 assists and giving you a few rebounds, and maybe 5 or 4 here and there. And he's been solid with his field goal percentage. And then when it comes to Sabonis, he's been holding it down too, getting you some solid double-doubles. But y'all really gonna need, past those 3, I know it doesn't really stretch too far. And off the back, LaMelo's, I'm gonna call him Lil Melo. Lil Melo, he's been balling, and especially since he came back, he's getting back to the swing of things. His hand seems to be okay for him. So then you got what, Miles Bridges, it's, and on top of that you got what's his name from the Celtics, former Celtic that has been balling this season too and hasn't been injured.
Gordon.
Yeah, Gordon Hayward. He's been balling. He hasn't really been injured, knock on wood, this season. So I feel like they have more of a well-rounded cast to kind of take over. So I think for this one, I'm gonna have to say Hornets. I initially, because I didn't know Karis LeVert was out, I had the Pacers coming out, just because they're a little bit more seasoned, but missing some key punches. What you got on it?
I agree with you. I think the Hornets have more, just that they generally just have more talent at this point, and they have more talent at key positions. You have a guy, you have your closer in Terry Rozier, you have your playmaker in LaMelo, you have your general scorer in Miles Bridges, and then you have that defense who I'll give them credit. They are well coached. They're just really young. And to
Yeah.
have this opportunity as a young squad after, picking third in the draft is huge.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Pacers, again, the only way the Pacers really come out of it is, again, the Pacers coach has to out-coach the Hornets coach.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. And then they need another guy. Like they need like a Doug McDermott or someone else to step up and give them 15 to 20.
Yeah, I'm past Dougie buckets by now.
I mean, I'm just saying as just another guy. I can't think of another guy on that team that can really step up. They don't have a lot of talent, especially after that big trade with the center around the Westbrook trade. They got Karis LeVert, but they didn't really get anything else, which is a part of the problem. But I'm also gonna go with the Hornets. And to move on, we have the Celtics and the Wizards.
I'm going Wizards. I'm going Wizards.
Really?
I'm going Wizards. I'm going Wizards because I know we spoke previously about, you said the Celtics kind of have a full roster, but that's not totally true. Boogie down Jalen Brown is not going to be there.
Oh, right. Jaylen Brown is actually hurt.
He's out for the rest of the season. I think it was something torn. I'm not sure if it's a pectoral. It's a muscle, but it's not like any ligaments or anything like that. It's something torn. But he's done. I'm not sure if it's in the shoulder. It might be the chest, but he's done. And I think he's been out for a couple weeks now. To be honest, it's kind of really been on everybody else to kind of stick up. And honestly, I don't think Marcus Smart is going to be able to explode like he needs to. Like when you really think about it, all they really have is Jason Tatum. All they really have right now is Jason Tatum. Like, you listen, people was like fiending over, Taco Fall when he came out because he was so tall. But I'm gonna be honest with you, Taco Fall, I'm not sure if it's like minutes or development, but he's not that great. Like, I was watching him a little bit in college. I'm not a big college watcher, but everybody likes to pay attention to big men coming out of college, and he wasn't really that great. They just kind of threw him the ball, and he doesn't really have too much athleticism. Like, he barely gets off the ground. Like, if you compare Taco Fall to Bol, like, there's a big difference. Like,
right.
Bol has finesse, and like he doesn't have amazing athleticism, but he's definitely fast. Bol can move.
Right.
Like, I was watching a clip a few months ago. Bol done shook somebody and hit him with a finesse. Broke it. Like, I'll send you the clip later, but Bol got some finesse to him, and Taco Fall is not that. So you really just got, Jason Tatum kind of holding it down, and I don't know if it'll be enough for, like, you definitely know that, Tristan Thompson is probably going to get a couple DMPs. I mean, it's really, after Jason Tatum, who else do you have?
I agree with you. I was just thinking, the Wizards are a hard team to kind of bet against right now, especially with how hot they've been, and Russell Westbrook, again, just being Russell Westbrook.
Right.
Like, he's just, and there's not a lot of guys that can stop Russell Westbrook when he's on this kind of roll. My main concern is Bradley's their closer. Bradley's their number one scorer. When you need a bucket, you go to Bradley Beal. If Bradley Beal's not 100%, it's kind of hard for me to look at the Wizards and think about those guys as a serious threat. But I think in this situation, I agree with you. I wasn't aware Jaylen Brown was hurt. Jaylen Brown's actually out with the wrist surgery.
Yeah, he's done.
So he'll be out for the next 3 months.
Yeah, he's
done.
So,
there's definitely, like, Tatum's missing that number 2 guy. Well, he's missing number 2 and number 3 guy, if we're being honest. But it's more a matter of, I feel like Westbrook and Jason Tatum are going to cancel each other out. So it's what the rest of the team looks like in terms of impact. And I gotta agree with you. I gotta go with the Wizards on that one.
Yeah, I'm going Wizards. And that's an easy one for me. Like, honestly, Like it'll take Jason Tatum going off, like really going like if he don't put up like 50.
Yeah.
And I know Jalen can definitely put up 50. I don't recall, Jason going off for 50 or anything like that, but
I think he went off this year for like 60. Not 60, but
I thought
he might have went off for like 60 this year.
I thought that was Jalen who did that. I get both of them.
That was Jason Tatum.
It was Jason Tatum?
That was Jason Tatum.
I get them mixed up. So, all right. But like I said, it's going to take an effort from him. So
yeah.
It's going to take an effort. I don't think because even honestly, Bradley Beal doesn't have to, be 100% just totally. There's somebody else. Oh yeah, my guy from Japan, Rui Hachimura. Hachimura. Yes. Don't sleep on him. Like he actually plays with a little finesse too. He reminds me of Bo, but just a little bit better. Right. I think he's a little bit better. And I was watching him during the fantasy season, and he puts up when he gets minutes, he puts up numbers. Like his rebounds all there, but he definitely can shoot the three. He can shoot the mid range. And he got a little strength to his game too. So I think he's an X factor for them. So, and I'm not sure who they have to compete with that when it comes to the Celtics.
Right. I can't disagree with the logic in that one. But that would also make that would lead to a very interesting scenario where you would have Washington playing Brooklyn in the first round.
True.
Which would be very interesting.
I think they match up kind of well with Brooklyn, to be honest with you, but we'll see how that goes.
I more so
obviously
am just entertained by the KD Russell Westbrook factor to it, but
yeah,
in terms of matchups, I don't think they have the talent to run with Brooklyn. I don't think anyone has the talent to run with Brooklyn. If I'm being honest.
All right. So my thing is, after the obvious, who else is there?
They have some pieces on the bench. They really do. They have that Bryce Brown kid. They've got the shooter. Oh God, what is his name? Joe Harris.
Yeah, that's the guy.
I plays really well. Their bigs are solid, not great, but they're solid. They're solid. But the strength of that bench is definitely the wing and the guard rotations because it's just a bunch of shooters. And when you look at the fact that there are three guys, one of those guys is always going to be on the floor.
Don't get me wrong.
You're always going to have to deal with one.
Yeah, I don't think. I feel like for that matchup, Washington would be a dark horse, but I wouldn't put my stock in them to win.
Right. I could see it going 6 games.
Yeah,
I could see them stealing 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
And then that would lead to a Hornets Celtics play-in for the 8th seed. No, I lied. Yeah, a Hornets Celtics play-in for the 8th seed. So who'd you have there?
Hornets Celtics or Pacers Celtics?
No, it would be Hornets Celtics because if the Pacers lose, they're done.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's right, because the Hornets are lower. Damn. Hornets Celtics. Who would do it? You know what? I think the Celtics are gonna bottom out.
Interesting.
And it's probably honestly, if it comes down to a Hornets Celtics, you probably want to bet on the proven, like you don't want to bet against, Jason Tatum letting it bottom out like that bad or falling that bad. But like I said, I just feel like, they just have that energy.
Right.
I feel like the Hornets just have that energy, that poise. Like they're young, but nobody expected the Suns to do what they did. And I'm not comparing them to the Suns, but Lil Melo was, that decent.
Right. I think that would be a series that could definitely make a statement for LaMelo to show that, because he's going to have to be big in that series because, again, they don't have a guy in the Hornets yet. The Hornets are still trying to figure out who's it. Like, they know LaMelo's the face of the franchise, but they don't have a guy yet. They have Terry Rozier, which is, He's a very good closer, but he's not a guy.
Didn't he just put up 52?
I mean, he's put up those numbers, but can you look at him and be like, oh, he's gonna give me 50 tonight? No. You're gonna need that guy to be like, you know what? I'm gonna go toe-to-toe with Jason Tatum and we're gonna win this game. Is Miles Bridges that guy? He has a little bit of that in him, but I don't know if his game is far enough along to compete at that type of stage. So I think if it does end up being that's what I'm saying. We'll definitely find out. I think if it comes down to the Celtics and the Hornets, I'm gonna go with the Celtics on that one. But then moving on to the first round officially, that would lead the Sixers and the Celtics in the first round. And I think that's a clean sweep.
For me, Sixers and Hornets, but I would still pick the Sixers in that breath. I mean, so yeah. You know what? Yeah, I'm definitely the Hornets over the Celtics if that's the case. Yeah, but they would definitely get swept by the Sixers. I mean, what? Yeah, they might get swept by the Sixers. Yeah, they might get swept by the Sixers. Yeah, that's easy.
The next one is a pretty big one for me. So the Knicks and the Hawks.
Hawks are going to. I think the Hawks are going to lose, but that's the New Yorker in me talking.
Right.
Because I feel like this is one of those teams that it low key kind of matches up really well, and for the most part, everybody's just about healthy on the Knicks. The only problem is that the Hornets, the Hawks, they have a lot more firepower when it comes to the 3-point from the 3 ball. Obviously, Trae Young is Trae Young, Bogdanovic, but he be hurt. They don't give him too much minutes. Also, they have. You can pull up the roster real quick. There is somebody on the roster. I forget his name. He's a power forward. He's a young dude. I think it's either in the second or third.
Collins?
Not Collins. Somebody else. He's beasting when Doug Collins was out. He was wilding. I think his name is not. I can't remember. I wish I had my iPad up just now. My iPad's dead. I can't remember. He's a small forward, power forward. Young dude.
Their whole team is young, so I mean,
might be light skinned though, small forward, power forward. But he got hurt with a knee injury that took him a little bit.
Are you talking about DeAndre Hunter?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a dog.
Yes,
he's a dog.
I think he's back too, and he's a problem.
Yeah, he's back. Problem. They have Kevin Huerter.
What?
They get Gallinari back. They got some hitters. So they got some hitters for sure.
They're low key like log jammed at like the 3 and 4 position. OD, like there's no minutes. Like even the 2, if you really think about it, the 2 position too, like there's no minutes. They have like so much depth, especially going into the playoffs. But it's like you see where the the Hawks came in at the numbers. For their playoff season. Like they should be on paper, they should be a lot better than they are, but I think they just have too much depth.
Right.
They never blended it in well. That's why. And like I said, the New Yorker in me wants to win. Wants the Knicks to win. I'm gonna say the Knicks. And that's only because, like I said, because New York, and then 2. I don't think they blended it too well over the season. Like I don't even think if they have their rotation down right.
Right, and that was gonna be my point.
I don't think the Hawks got a good rotation set because they just don't know.
I agree. A lot of their guys have been hurt this year, so they haven't been able to get a set rotation. So that rotation probably won't have the chemistry until maybe game 3. But I think rotations are the X factor in this game, in this series, because if Tibbs plays the right rotation, they can neutralize Trae Young. And that's the biggest thing. If you can neutralize Trae Young's impact, then you have a shot of winning that game. And they have to control the pace.
Number 1 defense in the league.
Yeah. Number 1 3-point defense in the league too.
I just want to put it out there. Before LeBron and AD got hurt, the Lakers actually had the number 1 defense in the league, and the Knicks were number 2.
I mean, hey, I won't be I'll be the first person to tell you, like, listen, the Lakers they have more length, they have more size, they have more versatility. It's just the fact that, again, you're starting to see the age for them. You're starting to see the injury history.
I don't think it was an age thing. I think it was the condensed season, because you got to remember they played a lot of back-to-backs.
Right. But also they didn't have to play all their guys back-to-back either. That's the thing. They definitely, that to me, that's coaching. Like, you got to be able to trust the rotation that you have, and you got to be able to play guys in a way that you can preserve your top guys. And if that means taking some early L's, that's fine. You just got to make sure that you're healthy going into the playoffs. And that's something the Lakers really are not. They're not healthy.
Nope.
But in terms of the Hawks and the Knicks, I think it comes down to coaching. And I think, it's Tibbs versus Nate McMillan, which is a great defensive matchup. And I think it's just, it really is a matter of who can neutralize the other superstars and what rotation guys step up. Because I think the Hawks have more talent in their rotation than the Knicks do.
They do.
And when the Knicks go cold, they go ice cold. And that's a part of the problem.
I think some key players to pay attention to in this series is going to be matter of fact, if they're playing, and I think they are, because I think they're in the rotation, it would be Mitchell Robinson.
Mitchell's not back, not cleared yet.
He's not cleared yet?
Nope.
And Kevin Knox still not cleared, right?
No, Kevin Knox is healthy.
So there's him. And honestly, I think Nerlens Noel's is somebody to watch too, because if you pay attention, he's been getting you like 2 to 3 blocks a game. Like, his numbers are low, but they just don't show up on the box score like his intangibles. Like, his defense has been A1 for the Knicks.
I mean, he's the only guy this year to average 2 blocks and a steal.
Yeah.
Average. So, and I think for mostly playing 20, 25 minutes, he's like second. I think he's second in blocks, only behind Rudy Gobert.
Yeah. So I feel like he's somebody important. I mean, Frank is Frank. I feel like Frank never really showed his potential. I'm not sure if anybody can really get it out of him at this point. He's just defense.
But again, in this series, I feel like that's what you need, and that's why I think Frank is definitely key. Because if you look at Trae Young's stats versus Frank, he shoots like 32% from the field, less from 3. Like, he does not do well against Frank because of Frank's length. I don't like, at this point, we're not getting much from Peyton anyway, so I don't really care about the scoring. Like, again, he's probably never going to be a scorer. He's never going to give you 10, 15 points.
Just if
he can lock down your team's best guard, I'm cool with that. I'm great with that.
So it sounds like you're going with the Knicks as well.
Oh no, I'm gonna go with my heart on this one. It's gonna be heart over head. But I do look at the Hawks as a credible threat because of the fact that they have so much depth, and all of their depth can score in bunches. Right. And we definitely did almost lose a couple of times because of the fact that there are other guys that can just get buckets. So that's gonna be something that's gonna need to be monitored.
Yeah.
Moving forward, we have the Bucks and the Heat. I'll just
make it hot.
I was gonna say the Heat have the Bucks number, and that's the biggest thing. And I think it was Gilbert Arenas who said it recently. It's kind of sad because Giannis is still operating on a level where he's still showing all of his potential, but he still lacks a certain level of skill. Even though he's been there for this long, he's thriving off his athleticism. And we're going to see again, the way we saw with him last year, has his game improved enough for him to, when the game gets smaller, when the court gets smaller and it's just a half court game in the playoffs, can Giannis get off? Like, can Giannis still make things happen? Can he pass out of double teams? Can he bring double teams? Can he take on double teams? He still hasn't proven he can do that. Until he proves he can do that, Milwaukee's not going to go anywhere.
You know what that sounds like? And this is going to be a wild comparison. because they're two fundamentally different players in terms of what they bring to the table or what the others brought to the table.
Mm-hmm.
But way back when, years and years and years ago, weren't people saying that same thing about Blake Griffin?
Yeah. Yeah.
Weren't people saying that?
And the funny thing is Blake Griffin is a much better passer. Blake Griffin is more of a natural passer. So it shouldn't have been the case.
Honestly, like I think I was telling this to somebody when I was in MSG. And I'm so glad that Knicks aren't playing the Bucks, even though I don't think they would have did too bad. But I honestly think, like you said, the Heat did it. Once you Giannis is gonna get numbers regardless. But if you can like limit his effect on his team and really make his team beat you, it's not too much you have to worry about after that. Like honestly, like who's really worried about PJ Tucker right now? But honestly,
that's true.
The only person you have to worry about is Mr. Model of Consistency and Chris Middleton.
Well, I'll say this: they went out and got a guy in Drew Holiday that if you know about Drew Holiday, if people remember about Drew Holiday can give you 25, 30.
I wasn't going to sleep on Drew Holiday, and Drew Holiday plays defense.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I don't think it's enough.
I agree with you. I don't think it's enough. Yeah. And I just think they rely too heavily on Giannis. And a lot of people look at Giannis and they think, Kevin Durant because he's this long, slim, athletic guy. I look at Giannis more like Amari Stoudemire. I look at his game way more like Amari. And it's like, what was Amari needed is Steve Nash. Amari needed a Chauncey Billups or a Raymond Felton. He needed a guy that was going to get him the touches that he needed to be successful. Milwaukee has yet to find that guy.
I feel like Giannis, he has so much potential because he's such an athletic monster, right? And he's so lanky and long. And you pause, sorry. But like he could definitely people definitely see like he could be like a better version of KD. But honestly, I feel like his type, in terms of like how he dominates, I feel like at the very best he could probably be a Carmelo. At his very best, he could probably be a Carmelo. Yeah, at his very worst, like I said, like he's a tall Blake Griffin.
Yeah,
he's a tall Blake Griffin. And I think
a lot of people don't want to acknowledge the fact that he's a 4, not a 3.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that he can handle the ball a little bit, people want to put him at 3. It's like, no, he's a 4.
Like I feel like he'll probably have a longer career than Blake Griffin did, but I don't think he'll bottom out like Blake Griffin did either. Like people were like, "Oh, Blake Griffin was like only being charitable on Pistons because he was tired of losing and he got over it." And they were comparing his situation to James Harden, but no, if you really look at it, like Blake Griffin was trailing off pretty bad for a while. He got like granted, obviously he's older, but his athleticism is nowhere near what it used to be.
Of course.
Like even watching him when they do give him minutes on the Nets, he's nothing spectacular.
No.
No, he is what he is right now. He's not going to be more than that. Like people are like his name is sexier than his game right now.
Right.
He was like when Karl Malone and Gary Payton signed to the Lakers.
Right.
You weren't
getting too again. He didn't work enough on his skill when he was younger.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have a lot of skill. He has some, and you start to see it a little bit in Detroit, but he doesn't have a lot of skill. And that's what I'm afraid with Giannis. Giannis is going on his 8th or 9th year in the league, right? So at what point is it just I'm not trying to get better, I'm trying to be consistent? Because Giannis is young, don't get me wrong. He came in when he was really, really young. So he's only about 26, something like that. So he's still got time to continue to grow his game. But at one point, does he stop trying to get better, and does he just rely on what he has?
I don't know. He should be shooting a 3-ball out of this world, but I don't know. I feel like the Heat got it to wrap up this part. He definitely got it.
They just have a lot more skilled players. Again, you got
and
Bam that's growing up. You got Jimmy. Yeah, that too. They can bully. And again, Bam is one of the few guys that can actually guard Giannis straight up and compete with him in terms of size, skill, strength, those things.
Throw it back.
And then, you got to look at Chris Middleton versus Jimmy Butler. That pretty much breaks even.
Solid matchup.
Yeah, it pretty much breaks even. And then you have Jrue Holiday, but you don't know which Jrue Holiday you're going to get. You don't know if you're going to get the role player Jrue Holiday. You don't know if you're going to get the superstar Jrue Holiday. Like, you just don't know. So that's the toughest kind of matchup that you have to try and kind of figure out to see, like, okay, who's going to be the X factors in these games. And again, now Miami still has Tyler Hero. They still have that Duncan kid. They still have they still got a bunch of guys that can go off the 30.
They haven't really been playing too well this season, but I feel like they'll be all right come playoff time, to be honest.
Yeah.
The game slows down. And I'll tell you what, though, before we go on to the next bracket, Giannis' little brother got a ring before he do.
I mean, listen, RJ made it to the playoffs before Zion or Ja. So
I mean, that don't really count though.
Why doesn't it? Those two guys are supposed to be game changers, right?
I know, but RJ and Zion got into the league at the same time.
All three of them got into the league at the same time. They all came in the same year.
And who's Zach playing for?
Huh?
Who's Jock on?
Ja's on Memphis. So I mean, if Memphis makes it into the playoffs from the play-in, then that's a different story. But
nah, like I think honestly, I think it's just I was just having fun with it because what's his name? Giannis' little brothers got into the league so much later after him.
Oh yeah, no, his little brothers. I think his brother's only been in the league for like 2-3 years.
Yeah. And all of them are in the league right now. I think he has one more little brother that's 16 that's supposed to be coming into. He's supposed to be. And Giannis said he's better than him.
He is. You see, I've watched him. He is. But again, he has Giannis's problem where he has all the promise, but it's about honing the skill. You can see a little bit like he's a little more of a guard, which is gonna play well for him.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Giannis was a guard growing up too.
But he never played like a guard. He was just long and lanky. Like you could see there's with Giannis, it was always when he got drafted, like the dude was out there and he looked uncomfortable. Like you could tell he just didn't know how to move within his body. His younger brother Alex has the benefit of not only having Giannis in the league, but having his brother Thanasis on the same team, having the kid that just won the championship with the Lakers. He has all those benefits of training with those guys. So he's getting all that knowledge. He's getting all of that growth. So by the time he gets here, he's going to be nice.
Yeah, so who we got up on this next one?
We got the Nets versus whoever gets the 7th seed. I think both of us kind of agreed it would be Washington, which I think that's another sweep, personally.
I think it's going 6, but Nets.
I think it'll be, I think it's a sweep for the Nets. I just think that there's too much talent on that team, and I get that they're figuring it out, but I just think that come playoff time, KD is a different beast. Harden is a different beast. Kyrie, I don't know if he's, going to take time off or not, but I think those two guys are they're different animals when it comes to the playoffs, and it's really difficult for me to bet against them. And I really don't see those guys dropping the game. I don't.
But is he different and the same beast? I'm just making a Kobe reference.
I was about to say, you didn't even make the right reference, but I'm gonna let you solve it.
I couldn't remember the whole thing. But I think Nets in 6.
Right. So ultimately, who do you see coming out of the East? Because I'm not gonna go matchup by matchup because I'm gonna lose track.
I mean, we went who I think we're past the play-ins now. Who do we have left?
No, I'm saying that what we just went over was after the play-ins. That's technically the first round.
So coming out of, I think it'll be between the Heat and the Nets.
Really?
Yeah. It'll be between the Heat and Nets coming out. I don't really see anything past that, to be honest with. I mean, yeah, I don't really see anything past that, and it's kind of a toss-up for me between the Heat and the Nets. I feel like the Heat have the potential because they're, like I said, they're just a gritty team. They're really a really rugged, beat you down, grind you out kind of team. You know, and I think the Nets have the talent to usurp that. Because they have so much talent, right? I think it's they have so much talent to the point where they could probably outlast that. But at the same time, I think that'll be the matchup for the East. If they don't meet in like the semis or something like that by the end of the bracket,
they are going to meet in the semis.
They're going to meet in the semis. Yeah, so
technically they meet in the semis.
Yeah, so it'll be between one of those two.
I'm actually going to hit everybody with the different look. I think the Sixers are coming out. I love that defense. I love the way they play defense. I love the way they play together. And those guys have experience from the head coach, and the players have experience. The stars have experience. The reason why I say the Sixers is because I don't know what shape the Nets are going to be in come Eastern Conference Finals. Right. After having to play a team, say like the Wizards, and then having to turn around and play a Heat or Milwaukee. What state is that team going to be in? Like, where's Kyrie's head going to be at? You know, is KD going to be healthy? Is James going to be healthy?
James, I think James is hurt.
Like, I can't trust those guys to be ready come playoff time.
Right.
Come Eastern Conference Finals, they haven't proven that they can actually be ready. That's just my biggest thing.
Yeah.
So moving on to the West. For the 9th and the 10th seed, we have the Memphis Grizzlies and the San Antonio Spurs. And for the 7th and 8th seed, which to me is just, it's kind of funny. It's basically a finals rematch or a Western Conference Finals rematch of the Lakers and the Warriors.
I'll make this simple and easy, to be honest. I think the Grizzlies are going to come out on top over the Spurs because the Spurs really just kind of riding DeMar DeRozan. And, you know, I'm Lakers over the Warriors is what it is with them.
Hey, I can't argue the logic. I also have the Grizzlies coming out. And I just have the Lakers because right now Golden State just they don't have all the horses. That's just what it is. They don't. If Clay was in this situation, then maybe I'd give the Warriors more of a chance, but they don't have all their horses. And Steph's playing out of his mind, but you know, you can't. It's hard to bet against LeBron and AD right now.
Right.
So then that would have the Warriors playing the Grizzlies for the last spot. So who would you have out of that situation?
I'll take the Warriors. Just
really?
For the experience.
Okay.
I got a quick question for you. 1800 or Jack?
1800.
All right.
In this situation, you know what? I'm gonna go with the curve. I think the Grizzlies can pull it out. I think if we're talking one game, everybody going home. I think the Grizzlies have that. They still have enough of that grit to beat out the Warriors. And I think outside of Steph, I can't really trust the Warriors to make plays. And that's my biggest thing. It's going to come down to making plays. I don't like Draymond Green. I'm going to keep it real. I'm not a Draymond Green fan. I don't trust his game. His game is way too hit or miss for me. And it's the other pieces that concern me because, you know, what are you going to get Andrew Wiggins that averages 19 points? Or are you going to get Andrew Wiggins that goes to sleep? Are you going to get Kelly Oubre that gets 2 texts and leaves? Or are you going to get Kelly Oubre that's going to give you 25, 30? I don't know. It's just, and I just think Memphis is just way more consistent.
Right. And you know what? They got a Valanciunas, the walking double-double.
Yeah, well, I don't know if Triple J is hurt or not hurt, But again, I think this kind of just this is a game that goes a long while in solidifying like what the hierarchy of Memphis is.
Triple J, talking about Jaren Jackson?
Yeah.
I think I don't think he's playing.
I don't think he's playing either. That's my biggest thing is I feel like he could definitely help them in this situation.
I heard a rumor though.
Oh yeah, no, I heard the rumor too. I'm not gonna talk about it though. I heard the rumor too. Because it's not worth looking at right now.
I mean, you don't think it could be good for your team?
Not at the moment, no.
Understood.
Just the way the team is made up right now, I don't see the point. I don't understand the point. It doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, I can tell you who can get rid of.
I'm not getting rid of Mitch, and I'm not getting rid of Julius. So where's he gonna play?
I mean, because of his potential and his upside, I would probably get rid of Frank. I mean, nobody wants.
It's not that, but I'm substituting a guard for another forward. What about that? Doesn't make any sense. There's no balance. There's no balance on that team.
You know, you're right. They are
no balance.
Heavy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking at it. Like, I'm not gonna entertain it because it's not one. It's a talented player, but it's not a need. And right now, we're accumulating talent, but we have to accumulate talent where we're talent deficient, which is in starting 2 guard spots and 3 really. But again, it all depends on where you're gonna play RJ. Ultimately, is he gonna be a 2? Is he gonna be a 3? I think he's a 3. So
I think he's a 2.
He's not skilled enough from a guard's perspective to be a 2. That's why I think he's a 3.
Is he tall enough for the 3 though? Like he moves, like he scores like a 2. He doesn't.
I know he scores like a 2, but every 2 now. That's the thing. Every 2s and 3s are interchangeable. The problem with him being, I think you can kind of switch him off and just have him be a wing, and depending on the matchup, you can play him where you want to play him. But it all depends on who your lead guard is, and I think that's the biggest thing we have to find is a lead guard and another shooter. That's a Reggie Bullock type.
Right.
But enough with the Knicks. We're gonna go to the first round matchup, which would technically be the. It would be the whoever wins out between, in this scenario, the Grizzlies and the Warriors would play the Jazz in the first round.
I'd be a Warriors, so I think the Jazz will take the Warriors up.
I think the Jazz are very vulnerable, and I think the team is beatable, but not this early. I think if there's ever going to be an upset, this will be the upset, but I'm going to go with the Jazz for now.
My goodness, yeah. I'm gonna go. Sorry about that. So I keep liquor frozen, and then frozen shit.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
You can see but yeah. I think the Jazz will definitely beat the Warriors, only because, like we said before, the Warriors just don't have enough.
Yeah, I agree. I think regardless of who they play in the first round, though they are beatable, I think that they may just have too much firepower. And I think Donovan Mitchell's still mad about last year. So I think, he's just going to put the team on his back.
And can't forget about my favorite point guard.
Who, Mike Conley?
Yes. The grindfather himself. Listen, man.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he can be a factor. I hope he gives team more than 15.
And he's played a lot better this year than he did his first year with them. And he's back to almost Mike Conley numbers.
I mean, I hope so. That's all I can say. I don't trust him, but we'll see. I don't trust him, but we'll see.
From a health perspective, or?
Yes.
He's all right. He'll be all right.
The next matchup is an interesting one. The Clippers are the 4th seed against the Mavericks at the 5 seed.
Only because I hate the Clippers. I really sound like a Laker fan.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the Clippers. Only because I think I feel like Paul George is overrated. From his game
Okay.
down to his sneakers. Even though I did like the PG threes that zip up a
Mm-hmm.
little, I like them in the Nets colors, gray and white. But I think Paul George is overrated.
Okay.
And it showed every time in the playoffs. Granted, most of the times he's been kicked out by LeBron, and that's a different beast in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Even when he plays other teams, like and granted, he said last year that he was going through something like, more mental health, that he really took him out the game.
That and he was coming off double shoulder injuries.
Yeah, I mean, well, what was his excuse in the Thunder though?
It wasn't one.
Exactly, and it's the
It wasn't one.
same.
It's a mental game for him. It's
And
definitely a mental game.
I think it's more than that. I think he's just overrated. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never liked Paul George. I've never liked Paul George. I've hated Paul George since he was an Indiana Pacer. He got drafted. I've hated him because I just always thought he was overrated. I never liked this. I've never warmed up to him. I don't hate him as a person. Obviously, I don't know him, but as a basketball player, I just feel like he's just really overrated, and people make him more than what he is. So for that pure reason, I would love to see the Mavs beat the Clippers. I mean, I want my guy, riding the head coach. I want him to do well. I forget his name at the moment, but
Ty Lue.
I want Ty Lue to do good. He's a good coach, but I would just much rather the Mavs.
Well,
I think the Mavs alone. I think if the Mavs can get it to Game 6, then it's a wrap. Doesn't matter if he gets to a Game 7 at that point. It's a wrap. The Mavs win. Like, in order for the Clippers to win, to beat the Mavs, they need to close out in 5 games or less. If they can't do that, it's over.
Okay. Well, I can never root for the Mavericks simply because they employ Kristaps Porzingis. It's that simple.
But that wasn't his fault, though. That was the front office fault.
I'm not going into it. I just said what I said.
I can't get into it too much too, like I said, because of employment affiliations. But that
again, there was
some
some people on his side that were doing some shady stuff too. So and the fact that he's been throwing shade ever since he got traded, I can't respect it. Can't respect it at all.
But I can't listen. I'm just gonna. I mean, all we know now is that they got to get right. They got to get right. They got to get right now. And I wish it could have happened with Porzingis, but it clearly couldn't.
Right.
I don't even know if Dennis Smith Jr. is in the league right now because
he's in Detroit.
He's definitely not playing for the Knicks.
He's in Detroit.
And so many people were like, "Oh, the Knicks should have drafted Dennis Smith," and look where he's at now.
Mm-hmm. Again, the only guy that would have been acceptable that maybe would have made us better would have been if we would have took Donovan Mitchell. No. That's how I see it.
In any case, I'm picking the Mavs on this one.
That one's a little bit tougher because only reason why I say it's tougher only because I don't know if Kristaps is going to stay healthy. Mm-hmm. And Luka doing it by himself, Luka needs help. Luka can't be the only guy going off 50.
I mean, he's not going to be the only one. You know who they got that's going to give you nothing but scoring and field goal percentages.
Who?
He's not his dad, but he's carved his own niche.
Mr. Tim?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Tim's good for like 15.
No, not at all. He would definitely get you, like, listen, Tim Hardaway, yes, he's freaky, but he also can put up numbers. He can. Like, my man, he can definitely get you like 30.
He can give you 30 maybe once in a while. I see him going off 30 maybe once.
What? No. Watch his numbers this season. He's been killing this season. Yeah, he's definitely granted. He hasn't stepped up anywhere else. Like, my guy will give you a 40-point game with 1 assist. Yo, 1 assist on like 30 shots. but he will definitely get you some numbers. So he's not going to do it totally alone. It's just that, Tim Hardaway is going to have to play a wider game. He's going to have to play a wider game. He's going to have to give you more than just scoring. He's going to have to play defense.
I still don't think, though, I don't think that I don't think they have enough to compete with a Kawhi and Paul George because, again, you may think Paul George is overrated, but Paul George can still give you 35, 40. He'll still give it to you.
Yeah.
Kawhi is good for, he can go anywhere from 17, 35. Like, you still have, the problem, I think, with the Clippers is not talent. It's the fact that they just don't have an alpha. They need an alpha. And that's why they won't win it. But I think at least in this series, I think that they'll win.
Okay.
I think with this series, at least they'll win it. So the next series is, to me, probably the one that I can see going 7 games. It's the number 3 Nuggets and the number 6 Blazers. I think that's going to be a dogfight. Especially because you got to think about the story here. Like, there is this upstart Nuggets team, but then you got Melo coming back to Denver in the first round. I think Melo definitely has maybe a little extra there. He's probably got a little extra there. And then, on top of that, even though the Nuggets have been successful, they're not the same team without Jamal Murray.
And it's going to take, even if Porter really blows up because he has the minutes to do so, matter of fact, do you know if they have Will Barton back yet?
No, I'm not sure about that. I believe they do, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on it.
I haven't heard him making any noise, honestly, but I think it's going to be Blazers in 5.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think it'll be Blazers in 5.
I don't even think it's going to be that much of a. It's going to be scrappy, but it's not going to be that bad.
I'm saying, I think this has the potential to go 7 because, again, Denver is just far too talented, and I think Jokic is taking this game to another level. And I think trying to deal with Jokic is going to be what the main problem is. Because Nurk is cool, but Nurk can never stay healthy, and Cantor can't play defense. So, who's really going to stop Jokic?
Cantor did put up like 26 rebounds in once this season. So,
again, he's good for that every season. But when it comes to the playoffs, he's a ghost.
We'll see what happens.
He's a ghost.
We'll see what happens. But I usually get Nurkic and Joker mixed up. I used to get them mixed up because I feel like they both have the same game.
Yeah, but they do. I just think Joker's taking. That's what I'm saying. Joker's taking his game this year to a new level.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I still think it's not going to be enough, and Blazers in 5 because they got Joker, they got Porter, who's continue to grow, but you got Melo, you got McCollum, you got Nurkic, you got Dame, like Jesus Christ, it's too much. And honestly, people still sleep on Melo like he can't get 25, 30. Melo might give you 25, 30. He can probably throw that up real quick if he gets hot.
Right.
And then you still got McCollum and you still got Dame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my thing.
And then you still got, and then it's crazy. Like Nurkic has kind of been trying to work his way back,
and
he still has imagine if Nurkic gets comfortable in this series,
right?
Look at the damage of that. Like, come on, they've been kind of playing it safe with him because he had like a fracture last season or 2 seasons.
Yeah,
ago.
He had like a hairline fracture and like his shin or something.
Yeah, if he gets comfortable, man, posting up on the block, taking people down in the paint, like. It's a lot to deal with, and I think it's going to be Blazers in 5.
Okay. The next matchup is the number 2 Suns against whoever wins the 7th seed. Me and you both predicted that it would be the Lakers. It would be the Lakers and the Suns. You got LA. I'm I'm not gonna lie to you. I like LA. I really like LA. I really do.
They're not gonna do it. It won't be.
I'm gonna go with Phoenix on this one. I'm gonna go with Phoenix. I'm gonna go with Phoenix. I think because I think Devin Booker is ready to take the next step. I don't think Chris Paul is gonna get knocked in the first round. I don't.
He has. That's his.
I mean, he has, but again, I don't think he's had this much talent from a youth perspective since he was on New Orleans. And I think that Monty Williams got those boys playing. I really do. I'm never going to discount LeBron. I'm not saying that it can't go for a while, but I think the Suns have a shot to really pull this one off. So I'm going to go with the dark horse on that one.
I'm going LA. Listen, AD's back, and he said it himself. I'm back. AD's back.
Yeah, he had his moment.
He's feeling good. He's feeling healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You got the walking double in freaking Andre Drummond. I mean,
let's hope he can be a walking double.
He has been since he's been.
No, he's had some doubles. Don't get me wrong, but he's also had some duds. He'll give you 2 points and nothing else.
I mean, think about it though. They're still trying to work. They were still trying to work him into the rotation, and he's still trying. And
I get it. I get the logic, but again,
I think it's going to be the Lakers because it's the firepower.
If you want to see them as having firepower, then by all means.
Listen, I get Phoenix is young. They got the athleticism. They got the youth. They got Chris Paul, who is a surgeon, who is a whiz when it comes to the court. But who is just as smart? Who plays chess too? LeBron James.
And no one is you're not gonna hear an argument from me on that one. You're not gonna hear an argument there.
My boy is moving. I'm just saying, man. So it's if the Lakers do lose in the playoffs before they get to the finals, I honestly think it'll only happen in the Western Conference Finals.
That's fair. So who do you have coming out of the West? You got which LA team?
Come on, don't be disrespectful. Don't be disrespectful.
So you got a Lakers Heat rematch, or you have a Lakers Nets final.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I'm saying that those are the two options that you have at this point.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough one, but because I feel like the Heat versus the Nets could go either way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody's like, everybody probably say like, the Nets, they have all the firepower, there's nobody can, but I think it'll be the Lakers, and if I have to choose, I'm gonna say the Lakers Nets, but my gut's telling me it's gonna be a Lakers Heat rematch.
Okay.
My gut's telling me it's gonna be a Lakers Heat rematch only because I don't think it's going to finish out well with the Nets. Like I don't think it's at the end of the day, I don't think it's gonna blend well. I don't think it's gonna gel all together and they're gonna get on the same page and they're gonna get a good flow. Like they can play well together clearly, but really get it flowing and really get it going. I think it's going I'm gonna say Lakers Nets, but my gut I feel like I'm gonna be wrong because my gut's telling me it's gonna be Lakers Heat. I feel like the Lakers are going to click right when it's supposed to. I mean, if you were paying attention to the Lakers, they were losing consistently. But who was playing pretty well for the most part? Kuzma.
For the most part.
Who was playing pretty well? Schneider, whatever his name is.
Schroeder. Every time I've seen LA, he's been hurt, so.
Schroeder be all right, man.
So, I mean, in terms of the West, it's tough for me because it's a matter of, is LA, like you said, is LA going to click at the right time? And that's my main thing. Because even looking at the field, it's either LA or it's going to be a completely obscure team that's going to make it to the finals.
Do you think of the magic that happened when LeBron's on the same court? as Drummond and they're on the same page, like think about it. The game slows down. You have more time to practice, like you didn't have time to practice in the season. And
You don't have time to practice. What are you talking about? They end up playing. They playing like 3-4 times before
no,
they.
I'm talking about when they. Of course, the Lakers are going to get into that first round. Let's just be honest. And
Okay.
you do have even the game slows down for a reason. Like I feel like you're gonna have a little bit of time to practice. You're gonna be able to try certain things out. You're gonna see the same looks, the same sets, the same plays. You're gonna see adjustments. But for the most part, you're gonna have a little time to settle in. I think LeBron with that and how smart he is, knowing the players that he knows. Like even you didn't have to be on the same team as him. He knows your game. Like give LeBron like an hour. Watch the magic he does with his team, man.
That's fair. That's fair.
I think LeBron is really gonna bring the best out of Andre Drummond. Like he does that with all of his players. If he makes them look so much greater than they are. Not to say that they aren't great as it is, depending on the team. Don't get me wrong. Listen, Boobie Gibson is Boobie Gibson. He was never gonna be anything but more than Boobie Gibson. But Andre Drummond. What? Imagine how much easier it's gonna be for Andre Drummond. You're worried about LeBron James. You still got Anthony Davis and Andre Drummond. Like, come on, like people like, Anthony Davis. His body got to stand up to the beatdown. The playoffs. You got Andre Drummond sitting there with.
I mean, again, he withheld last year going through that, so I'm not worried about it. Listen, like 80 in the playoffs is a different beast. So yes, I'll give you that. 80 in the playoffs is a different animal.
But here's the thing, though. He doesn't even have to do that. He doesn't have to grind out like that. You want to know why? Because you have Andre Drummond. Like, you don't even have to take
I think you may just be the biggest Andre Drummond stan I've ever met in my entire life. But it might just be because you've seen him in Cleveland.
Nah, it has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that. Like, I've always felt like Andre Drummond put up numbers. People are like, he didn't play defense. He plays defense. He gets his rebounds. Like, it's just, he's like, you have an athletic, tall body that can score. And it's not Anthony Davis. Like, let's say you double team Anthony Davis, you double team LeBron. You're doing switch rotations, right? You still have Andre Drummond, and that sounds crazy to say. Like, I'm not trying to make it seem like Andre Drummond is like this amazing world class, like KD type of player. But when you got Anthony Davis and then LeBron James on the same team, then you still got to worry about. I feel like I sound like Shannon Sharp right now. Like,
you do, you really do. Yep. That's why I'm looking at you like you're crazy.
I'm bringing the elephant to the show. I'm bringing the elephant.
It's again. I'm not gonna say it's hard for me to bet against the Lakers. I'll say this: I do think the Suns have a chance to beat them, and I know I said I have the Suns to win, but I'm kind of changing that right now. I'm definitely probably gonna go more with the Lakers because I feel like it's gonna be a Lakers 76ers final. I really do. I think it's going to be a Lakers 76ers final.
I'm definitely counting out the 76ers because I feel like old boy is going to get hurt. And I don't wish that on anybody.
It's very possible. It's very possible.
Like he's about due for his quota. He misses so many games. He's about due for his quota for another few games to be missed. Like I feel like the condensed season it's made it harder on the players collectively. It's also saved them a little bit, but that's 10 less games they're playing, even though they play everything kind of condensed on top of each other. So he's got about 10 more games to be missed right now. So I don't know about
it. That's for sure. And that's definitely a question.
I'm kind of nervous that Embiid has the same skeleton as Derrick Rose. So,
I wouldn't go that far, but
I mean, I'm nervous,
So, but I think it's safe to say you have LA winning a second chip.
Listen, man, LeBron about to get that fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth. Okay. I played the fifth.
I mean, again, like I said, I can't argue against it. But I think somebody else comes out this year. I really do. I don't think LeBron gets it done. I think Philly has what it takes to get it done. I really do.
The only way is if it's LeBron and the only way somebody else wins is LeBron and AD can't stay healthy.
Right.
And it's like by some type of magic. I mean, it's possible. I can't even say it's like out of the realm of possibility, but if some type of magic, like basketball god magic, like the Brooklyn Nets just start going off and smoking people.
I don't even think it's magic. I think again, it's about if they can get on the same page.
Yeah.
And it's a situation where, is Kyrie going to be locked in 100%? Is Kevin Durant going to come back and be the guy?
If they start
James Harden going to do what he does?
If they start smoking people like how the Dream Teams are smoking people in that first iteration, because honestly, they all have the talent capacity to do so. It's like 3 mini LeBron James on one team.
Essentially, if you want to look at impact, then I definitely believe so.
Like just pure impact. Like they're all ultra superstars. And like LeBron, it's just man. Listen,
yeah.
If they click and they just start smoking teams, and LeBron gonna have his work cut out, especially when he's hobbled.
Right.
I feel like that's the only way he can lose. Okay. Like
I agree with you.
Don't get me wrong, it's going to take a Herculean effort for LeBron to really pull out this one because he's hurt a little bit. You know how these players go in the playoffs, they make it seem less than what it is. But I feel like this would be probably the toughest championship he has to date, LeBron James. If he can make it to the finals, he's really going to have to grind this one out.
Right.
I mean, his team.
I agree with you.
And if Kuzma can keep playing the way he was, locking in on defense the way he was towards the end of the season, I mean, if Schroeder can really just step it up and give more offensive output, you can have everybody else kind of lock in defensively. Morris plays defense. Somebody who I am surprised has been a ghost all season, Wesley Matthews.
Yeah.
But if he could at least play defense, hit some open threes, I think this is a really, 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 good shot for the Lakers to get number 5 for LeBron, so and close the conversation on this whole GOAT talk.
Well,
that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, that's not what I'm getting into. But an update, Indiana's actually up against Charlotte at the moment, 69-45. So our first prediction may actually be wrong at this point, but that's TBD.
69-45.
Yep, in the third quarter.
Nice. Oh, nice.
So if you have any other comments, anything else you want to talk about?
I mean, listen, it sounds like my man. I've always been pretty high on Brogdon. I think the Bucks should have never let him go. He was a restricted free agent, and they could have matched, right? They could have gave him a contract before he even got out. It was a test of field. They should have never let him go. I feel like he would have been that extra step. He's that playmaker that they needed. The Bucks, but they've been searching when they had it the whole time. His defense up there, and my man was getting triple doubles as a rookie.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh snap. Like this dude's first triple double was 10, 10, and 10. I was like, oh snap. Like I think he's probably going off right now.
Actually, as soon as you mentioned his name, he hit a 3. So that's why I kind of laughed.
Like Malcolm Brogdon, like, man, listen, he's probably going off, and they're probably leading the way. Sabonis and Malcolm Brogdon. So if they do win, shout outs to them. I would love for them to win. But we'll see what happens. Can Miles Bridges step up? Can Gordon Hayward, put up the gaudy numbers that he was putting up in the regular season? I mean, can LaMelo really show that, I'm built for this? Stay tuned for the next time. Dragon Ball.
And with that is a great segue. With that, this has been one of the few, unfortunately, Court King episodes, but we're going to try to come at you guys a lot more frequently. We're going to have a lot more content. Follow the rest of our content, football, baseball, UFC, soccer, the whole 9. Follow us on all socials at Sportsmark Analyst. Comment down below, like, subscribe. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know what we can improve on, because I'm sure there's definitely room for improvement.
Claro que sí.
But, with that, we want to thank you guys for joining us today, and have fun watching the playoffs. And we'll be back. I've been Jay. This is Calvin.
Yeah.
Peace.
Hasta luego.